can even sleep hungry in this UK. That's because you gave people money. So one thing I want to say for everyone watching this video is that the people at home, they expect from you, you will give them, but nobody will ask you if you're saving. Nobody will ask you if you're investing. Nobody will ask if you have anything for your future that you're keeping.
Like after you've established here and so well, do you think like you would consider going back? Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name remains Samuel and I have a very special guest with me today. His name is Jimmy and he is a registered nurse both in the UK and in Kenya. So I would leave him to introduce himself much better to us. So can we know you, sir?
Thank you so much for having me, Samuel. My name is Jimmy Omaset. I'm a nurse in the UK here, but I'm originally from Kenya, where I also practiced a bit before coming here. So it's good having me here. Thank you.
For how long have you worked in the UK and in Kenya?
I graduated in 2018, December. So I worked, but I started working as a nurse in 2019, August. So I worked for 3 years as a nurse. Then 1 year I did something different. Then I've been in the UK now for a year and about 5 months, I think.
Yeah. Oh wow!
Yeah.
So how was nursing like in Kenya?
So I've worked in different roles in Kenya, and generally it's much relaxed compared to how it is here in the UK. I worked in different roles, so different roles come with really compare differently in terms of how it works also in the UK here. But I think it was much relaxed back in Kenya. It is much intense here. I've worked in theater back in Kenya. I've worked in the maternity. I've worked in an administrative role. Actually, the last year before I came here, I was in an administrative role. And it was quite challenging, really. But here, it's just on another level, really.
When you said much relaxing in Kenya, like in what aspect? Is it like in terms of patient nurse workload or like nurse to nurse relationship?
Yeah, back in Kenya, healthcare, like most countries in Africa, is focused on curative aspect only, and you go home. Like it's largely focused on curative. Here in the UK, it's preventive, curative, society, and so on, like all angles really. So as most countries, the care is more to curative than less of the other aspects. It's not like really all around. That's the way we do here in the UK. So if I want to give you an example, in the UK, if I'm admitting a patient in the surgical ward, for example, things that I do to that patient there's a lot that I do to that patient compared to what I would do back in Kenya. In Kenya, I would take this patient, get the history, give them the bed, give them medication, and it's done. In the UK, it's different. I need to, of course, get some history, but then do some risk assessments, everything, can this patient walk, how they've been living, not planning for discharge. After here, where are you sending them? Are you sending them home? Are you sending them to a care home? Are you sending them where? How have they been? Like, there is a lot to look at in that one patient. So, of course, that makes the workload in the UK also big. So, in my own assessment, like, one patient that I'm handling here I could have handled 4 patients in Kenya with that same time.
So if we want to like just summarize, are we going to say like nursing in Kenya is much easier compared to nursing here?
I can't say it really is easier, but sometimes it depends on the department which you're working. Same to UK. I've been to other departments, even in the UK here, where it's much relaxed really, and the workload is not really much. But in Kenya also there are departments where you really work and work and work. For example, in the hospital where I worked in the theater, for example, there was too much work because you were doing surgeries the whole night till morning, no resting. You only take a break to clean up the theater, give it a few minutes to freshen. I mean, you just fresh air a little bit, and then back to another surgery, so back to back. In the UK, there are places which are much busier, like where I work, but I've been to other places where it's very relaxed. You just have time to sit down, sip coffee, and gossip a little bit, and no time in other departments really. But in Kenya, at least most of the wards I worked, you had some time to take tea really.
I forgot to mention earlier that you also have your YouTube channel, which was where I actually got to like meet you first. So people can also like check out your channel and see something that they would probably be of help to them as well. So when I was going through your channel, I saw one video that that caught my mind. And in that video, I think you said, if I remember correctly, like coming to the UK, being single is not advisable. Like it's not good or something. So I don't know if you're still single or you're married now. I think you're married now,
Yes, I
right?
am. I am
Okay.
married.
Wow, congratulations. If you could like just give us a bit of why did you think it's not good to come to the UK single?
The society here in the UK and in Kenya, where I come from, and most of us from Africa, is different. In Africa, we
Mm,
are sociable people. We are social from all angles. We love each other, and we are community people. But here is everybody by themselves. And today we were just talking even in the house, for example. I've been in this house for 6 months where I'm living right now, and I know the face of my neighbor. I've seen him about 3 times, but I've never said hi to
three
him.
times.
Yes, I've seen him 3 times. This one that I'm coming from work in the evening, I'm opening my door, and he also comes, he's opening his door 3 times, for example. And it was at night. I don't know his face. He doesn't know me. Except, okay, the previous place where I lived before I moved here, we were living a good number of us because when I came to UK, we came in a group. I came with some Nigerian friends and some Indian friends the same day. So we were living in a community setup in a student apartment where we shared the kitchen. So we would say hi to each other. It's a community setup, and I felt home. So when I moved out from there, this one, you don't know anybody. Nobody will knock you on the door that I just came to say hi. Nobody will call you that I'm just checking on you, except it's your relative or your close friend. And you don't just visit anybody anyhow. You can't say,
Yeah.
oh, Samuel, I was passing by, I was in your area. Then I said, let me say hi to your house. No, you can't say that. You can't say, oh, we went to church together, then we are going out to have some coffee. Not just like that. So you'll be on your own. Bad luck
Mm,
to you if you're maybe an introvert or something. You will be in trouble because you will not have any friend at all. You will go to work, people are talking, you're there. Because you may just have friends at work because after work, it's finished. And I want to
mm,
compare my life here and in Kenya, for example. I would come from work and you tag along your friend, you go out, you have a coffee before you go home, or pass somewhere, eat something before you go home. Saturday you're hanging out together. You don't do that here, except you have this close friend or this small circle. So sometimes I've met people who are stressed really. A few days ago, I have my Nigerian friend that I met her. She and I think there's a video I posted on TikTok, for example, that he was saying this friend of mine is so stressed because he was saying she doesn't have friends at all, and she's been here. This is her 4th year in this country. You know, she's a nurse, senior to me by far. But then after work, there is no other relationship. There is nobody to say hi except calling your people at home. But you cannot be calling your people at home every day. You cannot just be calling, your friends here. Everybody has their own schedule. It's different, unlike Africa. I can say I'm visiting my friend, I'm visiting who. You need to really book an appointment with somebody and they schedule you in their program before you visit them. So if in your house you're married and you have somebody, is at least you're talking to somebody, you can go out together, you have shared activities. Unless you are a
mm.
lone ranger, really, you might find it a bit difficult. But there's a way you can do to get friends if you come alone, really, the way I did. I have a large number of friends, Nigerians, Indians. We Kenyans are not so many here, but with time I've gotten to know so many from all over UK. In my area, there are not so many. But I think I'm an outgoing person, like really, so I'm able to get hold of so many
Okay.
friends. Yeah.
One other way to put it is like the social life here is very poor, and if we don't really like go out, we may like um go into
Struggle.
depression, as some people put it. Like the do you think that justifies the saying that the UK is depressing?
The social life is depressing. Other areas
Mm.
look good.
Let us talk about your working condition. Like, which part of the UK are you staying, and which kind of place are you working?
I am on the northern side. I'm in Lancashire. I was, of course, in the NHS, and I work in a surgical ward. I work in a colorectal surgery specifically, that is.
How is cost of living in Lancashire? I think the northern part should be cheaper, right?
Yeah, it's okay. It's affordable compared to other areas. It's relatively cheaper compared to other areas. I know this place is cheaper than Manchester, for example. Manchester is our neighbor county here, and it's relatively cheaper. If you compare aspects like housing, especially housing is one of the most critical aspects that where your money will be going to. So this place is quite cheap. I think I'm happy here.
Roughly how much is the house rent?
One bedroom is between 500 and 600
Oh wow.
pounds. Yeah. Two bedroom, yeah, 550 to 650 around there, up to 700 depending on where you got the house from. Three bedroom, people are paying from 700 pounds upwards to maybe 900. And if you look at it, my friend in London is paying 1,100 for a
Studio.
for a studio apartment.
Is this like furnished or unfurnished?
So most houses I think are not furnished, but there are a few which are semi-furnished. So like my own, where I'm living, was semi-furnished. Like it had
Okay.
there are one or two furniture in.
But despite that, it's still quite cheap. How is life in the NHS? And are you like a band 6 or 7?
No, I'm band five.
But for people who don't know, like anybody who is coming to the UK is coming as a band 5 or band 4, depending on wherever they get a job, and then you can go up the cadre. So,
Yes.
how is life generally in the NHS? How is the like staff interrelation? Is work life like the staff communication? How is it peaceful? I mean, like peaceful. Like, is it safer? Because people will say that NHS is safe, NHS is the best. So, what's your opinion about that?
Personally, I'm happy working in the NHS. Okay, there is advantage of NHS and other employers out there. So there is NHS, there is care homes, and there is private facilities. One of the things I've always told my colleagues is that if you're starting out in the UK, it's good you start in the NHS. One, because there's a lot of learning. There is a lot of the NHS has put a lot of learning structures to ensure that you're learning a lot. Like you're learning constantly, so you gain a lot of skills. And management really takes care of you. Really, they are largely taking care of you. There are one or two things that may not work here and there. For example, there are staffing issues at the moment. The whole of UK is suffering from, so there are staffing issues.
That's
We
an
have
interest.
staff shortages at the moment in the NHS. So people in some other departments might overwork. You know, the number of patients you're handling in an NHS facility, let's say in a general ward, surgical ward, will be much higher than what a person in a private facility is handling. I hear some of my friends who are there handling 6 patients per nurse, or others doing 5, others 4. In NHS, we are doing from 8 to 11 to 12. Yes. That's for example. Then in a care home also, care homes, the advantage care homes have over the NHS is only the money, that they pay more. But one of my closest friends working in a care home is complaining because you could be resting at home and they call you for that training. You go, you come back, and it's not paid. But the NHS, when you go for training, it is paid work hours. It is paid like work hours. Yeah.
Actually, I work in a care home and they pay for training, though, although like there are some things that would be favorable if it were to be the NHS, but I think it's the trust, or I mean the home where that person is working. But some people do pay. It's true that sometimes they can only be like a nurse for the whole floor, which can contain about 20 or more
Mm.
residents. So, you mentioned earlier, like, the management takes care of you. Like, if you could elaborate more on that, and then, if you could tell us a bit more about how, the NHS like helps you to transition from, when you just came to become a registered nurse here. Like, how did they help you to get into the system?
I think preparation starts when you're still abroad. So we were in a WhatsApp group and we were divided into certain groups. So when we
Okay.
came here, of course, we are not fully registered nurses yet. There was a training program. The hospital has a program to prepare you for the OSCE exam. And it was like, we were given a good time, 6 weeks really, practicing for the OSCE. And it was paid time, yeah. And at the same time, it was 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. You could still go back to the ward, and it was paid time still. Of course, although we were being paid as band 3, which is still okay.
So that's including the training back at home.
We were being prepared, and when we were still back home, and we knew what we were coming to do, where we are starting from, where we finish from. So they had given us what to expect really before we came, and they had divided us into certain groups. So they started preparing you long before. Coming from here, they had put down structures for us. They gave us accommodation for 12 weeks. guided us properly on things to do with saving the money and so on. The trainings were ready. They gave us some finances at least to get along. The first month, they gave us some refunds here and there just to help us get along. And the trainings has been there, and they keep following you up to ensure you're learning really. I think, for example, where I work, you are allocated a mentor who will keep check on you, follow your e-learnings, check on you a few times, just to ensure you're okay. If you have anything you want to complain about, the NHS has put offices like freedom to speak up, people who are there. You can go and say anything. And the environment they try really. I know challenges are there, but surely they try. The NHS is trying really to make sure the environment is conducive. I think for my hospital, for example, being a major trauma center, we expected to have a lot of traffic, patients coming in and so on. But the hospital is trying. Facilities are there, resources are there. And I know for now, the biggest challenge, as I've mentioned earlier, is human resource. But the managers and everybody, they're really trying to ensure that everything is working smoothly, like, to be honest.
From your own point of view, you already mentioned earlier, though, like the only advantage in care home is that they pay more. So, from your own point of view, do you think the money of NHS is small, like the salary is small? Because people would be like, oh, if you work in the NHS, you'll be broke. So, is it true, or is just like people are just exaggerating it?
There are other places out there where people make a lot of money doing the same amount of work or more, or I mean less than what we do.
In the NHS,
Like,
or like,
there are other aspects outside the NHS, really.
okay.
From where I stand, myself, like as Jimmy Omaset, I believe that whatever I'm doing, I'm earning less compared to the work that I'm doing. I believe that. So if you work in the NHS, you can actually be broke if you do not have any other mechanism to give yourself some extra amount. So that's why we do bank shifts, really. So if you're like me, people who are working in my department, for example, or other places, you do your 3 official shifts, which are 12.5 hours, then work a day or two extra, some hours. So the bank is what will help you survive. Without the bank shift, you're not able to save anything. So you need to do the bank. But the other places where you can just work your normal shift, there are people in private facilities where their starting salary is £33,000, you know, increasing with £1,000 or 1,500 every year. So I can't compare myself with that person. At the end of the month, it is me plus my bank shift plus my normal work days to get what that person will earn in a month at my level, starting. Almost everybody is doing bank to add on what you earn to survive.
But some people do say like there's a way that the NHS has like made the system in such a way that you will always like have some much money, in a way to compensate for the like smaller periods. So people say like if you work nights that they get doubles, or weekends that is
Yeah.
double rates. Then like there's other benefits that is only attributed to NHS. Okay, so can you a
Yeah.
bit like talk more about that?
Yeah, there are enhancements really. If you work Saturday or Sunday, bank holidays or nights, those enhancements are there. So they boost your salary somehow. So the thing is, we usually request duties before they are made. Most times
Oh,
you'll be given your duties, but they're not a guarantee because there are most people who would want to work, and certain people prefer nights only, but everyone will not be given nights. So let's say for me, last month, November, I worked 2 nights only, just 2 of them, you know.
in the
But
whole
there are,
month.
yes, but there is someone else who worked 12 nights, you know. Because in a month we work around 12 days in a month. That is 3 days in a week. So there is someone who worked 12 nights. I worked 2. And there's someone who did not work any weekend. Someone who worked Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday only for the whole month. We will not get the same salary if you are the same band. The person who will work
Mm.
weekdays only for day shifts only will get the most basic of band 5 if it's band 5. Maybe let's say maybe 1,700. And the person who will work nights only will get something like 2,100 or 2,300 and something like that. So there will be a difference. I remember there was a time I worked 1 month nights only, and there was a difference of about £450 in my salary compared to the previous month, which I had not worked any night at all. That is my first few months as a band 5 nurse.
Wow.
In that time of requesting duties, it is encouraged you request those weekends, request nights. Like this month, I requested Saturdays, for example. I'm working all Saturdays, and I'm working maybe, is it 3 nights? I think 4 nights and 4 Saturdays. So that's good for me. I expect something
Um,
good end of January.
yeah. If somebody is working, let's say it's a Saturday and then it's
Yeah.
also a night, is there like something for the person, like double enhancement? Is there anything like that?
There's an enhancement, not double. So for Sunday, I know it's usually something like £7, or something 6 or 7 pounds on top of the normal working hour. So if
Oh,
for example, the normal pay rate I think right now is 14 point something for my trust for this area. So if you work Sunday, it could be something like 20. So the difference would be like £6. So if you work on a Monday, if you're getting Monday £14, on a Sunday you'll get 20. If you work
wow.
nights, yeah, instead of 14, you'll get something like 19. Yes. So if you take 12 hours that you worked and 6 additional pounds, 6 times 12, collect them into 6 nights, it's something significant.
Yes, 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 yes,
You
yes.
will not pick that
Wow.
kind of money on the road as you walk.
Yeah, I think that settles that aspect. Thank you for clarifying it for us very well. So, like, we know it's still not enough, especially due to rent and other family expense. I mean, yeah, expenses that may come up, and that's why people do a lot of bank shifts or agency shifts and all.
Yeah.
Since you have been in the UK, is there anything that you feel like you regret doing or not doing early?
I think this one I will say. I was not very prudent with my finances the first few months I was here, and I think it's an area I'm still working on because I was like, when we come from Africa, we come with a lot of goals. I'm here to do this. I help my family. I do this, and one of the biggest lessons that today I look back and I realize I did my mistake was that I cared so much for many other people and almost forgot myself.
Hmm.
So and everybody who is watching this video is going to learn that when you come here, get finance, please save your money very well. Remember the guys at home, but your life is here. That is something I tell myself and I tell new people that I meet. People at home will be calling. They know you are now in the UK. They know you're earning more than what you're earning back home. They'll be calling you. They'll be texting you. In fact, actually, there's a time I had to lock everybody out. Yes, I had to lock everybody out, and I was only talking to my direct family members and my girlfriend then, who is now my wife. Because I remember that time I had some challenges I was going through, and you wake up in the morning, you switch on your phone, and you get 3 or 4 messages. This person wants 2K. This one wants 5K.
Oh God.
Somebody will not even say hi to you in the morning. And somebody you spoke to many years ago. And if you're a person with a good heart, sometimes my mom says my grandmother and I are, that's the heart I have. They nickname her that she's sister to Jesus Christ. So if you have
Mm.
that heart of, you will give everybody, give everybody, give. Then you can even sleep hungry in this UK just because you gave people money. So one thing I want to say for everyone watching this video is that the people at home, they expect from you, you will give them, but nobody will ask you if you're saving. Nobody will ask you if you're investing. Nobody will ask if you have anything for your future that you're keeping, but they will take it from you because they know you're earning more. So you need to be prudent with your finances. That is one of my biggest mistakes, which I learned maybe 5 months later.
As a registered nurse, like after you've established here and so well, do you think like you would consider going back to Kenya?
Sure, I'll go back to Kenya.
Oh, really?
I'll go back to Kenya in the next few years. Actually, I don't know, I'm sure about that.
Wow, wow. You're like one of the few people that would say that because most people would be like, no, 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 no.
I will go back to Kenya because one of the reasons, okay, I really wanted to get out of I wanted to experience something different. I believe I am here to learn, and I believe I have my position. I need to make a change in my society also in Kenya. There are certain things which I want to change in my society in Kenya, and I have to be
Mm.
there to change. I just don't want to pray for my country and just speak, but I want to be part of those change makers. So I want to learn here and see how things work. Our system is broken back home in many areas, and not just in Kenya, only in Uganda, in Africa, in Nigeria, everywhere. We have issues we are complaining about every day on the internet and everywhere. But you need to be on the ground also. Besides praying to God, you need to be on the ground also to make things. And changes. So I believe I'm here to. I just want to do my. I think once I finish my master's degree, I should be ready to go back home. Really,
Wow.
I am confident that I'll go back home.
I don't know if you have anything else that you want to tell us.
The UK, for those who are watching and they really want to come, you will not be disappointed. You need to manage expectations early though. It is not heaven the way many people imagine. I have met one or two people who have come here and gotten disappointed. This place has its own challenges too, just like home, where we come from, to come here. So the one or two challenges you'll meet will not be heaven. And of course, these guys are serious people. You also try and up your game and be at par with them. If it's assessments you're doing, if it's e-learning, so on, do everything right on time. You will not be in trouble with anyone. Be curious. You have to keep learning. How is that cancer research going? How is that the Cancer Society, the pancreatic, whatever? Get involved in so many things. There's so many opportunities in the UK, by the way, to develop yourself. Free courses, so many. And by the way, if you happen to be in the NHS, there is an opportunities. They have opportunities to ensure that you save some money. They have some saving schemes for work. They have cards they give you to save some money when you purchase some air tickets, some holiday what. They're there to help you. And these people, if you don't speak, if you don't ask for help, nobody will bother with you. So be sure you speak your mind. Sometimes we come here and you want to pretend you're so good, you don't speak, you don't do what you will suffer at work. If you're not comfortable, speak up, say you're not comfortable. And you'll be accommodated. Something will be done about it, And yeah, I just want to speak up, Don't go home and cry. Speak at work and give your best. Let's represent our countries well. Keep encouraging others too.
All right. Thank you very much for coming to the channel. I really appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Another time.
Oh yeah, keep doing the good work on YouTube. We'll keep encouraging these guys who are watching us from home and encouraging them to come. I'm also trying, though I'm a bit lazy and with my channel, and sometimes I get carried with some other things. But this new year is my resolution to really post a lot of content on my YouTube. Yeah, it's just Jimmy Omaset Nurse in UK. I think when I organize my mind properly, we'll discuss more with you, Samuel. I believe also have some questions about the care home, and I will reach back to you really. And thank you so much.
Bye.